You should be giving quarterly or more, I would suggest you do monthly, financial statements, at least to your executive committee, if not having a monthly report to your club that says, okay, we started the month with this much money, we spent X, Y, and Z on W, T, and V, and here's where we are now. It can be a simple spreadsheet, it can be your bank statement, whatever works for you. And again, you process the new and renewed members. So those are the major responsibilities of the treasurer. Yes?
Jeff, I do want to say that the number one thing on the first page and the second page of the manual is go to the bank and change the signature card at the bank.
Definitely.
I found that to be not just with our club, but other clubs. It seems like the people who are able to sign checks was the treasurer 3 years ago and are no longer a member of the club. It has to be done every time. In order to do that, you have to have an officially signed letter from the secretary that says, on this date, so-and-so was elected president. We have the president.
Right. This is where those minutes come into play.
And but they have to sign this letter, give it to the people that's on a signature card. They take it to the bank.
Yes. So usually you're going to need the old treasurer if you can get them, the new president. I don't think you need the old president, but it may help, and the new treasurer. All need to meet at a bank. I don't know.
With the letter.
Right, and with the letter. Call your bank ahead of time and let them know this is what happened, what do I need to do to get this switched over. So you don't run into, oh, we just came in and they couldn't do anything, it was a waste of everyone's time. That is actually on the 7-day action plan right here. Get control of the bank accounts, treasurers. It sounds really obvious, but it's real. I know it can be a real pain coordinating everyone coming in and coming out. Check with your bank, get the people there, get it done. And if you don't have that debit card, I really recommend it because you can process payments online with TI. If you don't have a solid process right now for yourself that you haven't outright taken from or stolen from the previous treasurer, find out from them how they did it. Maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't, but establish a new member or renewing member payment process for yourself. How am I going to take the checks? Does my club want to take PayPal or something like that? Whatever works for your club and they'll approve. So establish that member payment process, how they're going to give you money and how you're going to get them on your Free Tosto site and with TI. So that they're ready to go, they get their manuals as soon as possible, and so on. Some clubs like to maintain a stock of beginner manuals, the CCs and CLs, so that a new member come in, they give it their money, they give them the manuals and say, hey, these are either loaners, or when you get your manuals, just give those to us. And okay, so they can get started right away. It's up to you. And again, next point on your 7-day plan, read the treasurer manual. That'll tell you a lot more about what you need to do and how to do it. And finally, prepare a budget for the next at least 3 months. Once the Sergeant-at-Arms comes back and says, hey, we need ribbon, here's how many ribbons we have, or awards, or here's what manuals we have, and you get together with your club executive committee and they decide, well, we'd like to have, say, the Leadership Excellence series on file. We'd like to have a bunch of CC manuals on file. We'd like to have Better Club series or Better Speaker series, excuse me, on file. Okay, you need to go to TI, see how much that costs, and then budget for the next 3 months. How much do we have? How much can we afford? And what do we want to buy? And that sort of thing. So plan a budget for the at least next 3 months. And start using money. I mean, I see a lot of clubs, they won't spend money. They may not have, a whole lot, but they could at least spend some on preparing some marketing signs that point to where they're holding their meeting that day, or this, that, and the other that would improve their club tremendously. But they just don't have a process for doing it. They haven't budgeted for it. And for everyone, make sure I'm getting this, you need both a successor. Start playing this at least 3 months before the end of your term. and a backup. So if you're a sergeant at arms, you can't come to the meeting, you need someone to set that meeting up. Maybe it's a previous sergeant at arms who'll be really good at it. Or maybe it's a protege you have that's going to just be the biggest sergeant at arms ever. Have that in mind. You also need well, I just said backup and a replacement. Okay, I did cover it. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. Finally, everyone needs to go to your executive meetings. This is where you really steer your club. If there's things that need to come up and no one else is bringing up, bring them up. The other thing is, for clubs that aren't holding monthly executive meetings, that aren't planning, they're not using a club success plan and so on, and they're not holding them, and now you've been told now that you need to have them, say, hey, Mr. President, we need to have these meetings. I think it would be very valuable for our club for X, Y, and Z. That's the major roles and responsibilities for Secretary, Treasurer, and Sergeant at Arms. Are there any questions on those offices?
A treasurer question.
Okay.
Something about, I didn't treasurer before, and this was never mentioned, but they passed along something about tax reporting. You don't have to tax report, but something about making your tax.
There's a tax form. I don't remember the exact number. Usually you just have to...
Not 90 in.
Okay. Most clubs are not going to be making enough money to be taxed, so it's pretty much telling the IRS, a form that'll tell the IRS, we're a nonprofit. What's that?
How much money do you have to make a certain amount to file it?
I think it's like,
I believe it's...
Was it $2,000?
It's $25,000, or if you're less than $25,000, I think you fall under 990. And if it's more, then you'd have to file a regular 990.
Right. So in most cases, it's just going to be a form letter that says, we're too small, don't bug us.
And this happens in April.
In May 15th.
Oh, May.
Well, you have to do it by May 15th.
Yes, and as far as I know at this point, there's no penalties for not doing it, but if you don't do it for 3 years, you could lose your exempt status. You can go to www.irs.gov, into the search, type in 990N, and one of the links will take you to a website where that can be filed.
Okay.
We've had a lot of problems with ours because for whatever reason the IRS number for us and Toastmasters number for us still doesn't match up, so we haven't been able to file.
Oh.
And they're like, well, you can't do anything until it's straightened out and it's through the IRS. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
But there's no
If you have that
unless you're
problem,
making a lot of money, there's no ramifications.
Usually,
No,
either...
other than your exemption,
Right.
Right.
but it's give you 3 years.
Yeah. So usually TI and the district will send an email blast out that says, hey, go take care of this, and here's how. And there should be information on toastmasters.org. Just search for tax forms or something like that. I'm sure they have it covered.
I'd like to ask a question to the other treasurers. Do you guys collect club dues?
yes.
Because I cannot get, I just started as treasurer. I don't know who was the successor. I jumped into
Or your
this
predecessor.
race. Yeah, exactly. But I can't get them to agree to do monthly dues. But it's like pulling teeth just to pay TI dues.
Right. Well, you have to do that as a committee with everybody in
The executive.
yes, and then you would decide this is how much we need in order to pay for books, all the awards, because none of that should come out of your pocket.
No.
It should be.
That's what your budget's going to be useful for.
So that's what we're doing. Somebody's, well, okay, I'm going to donate this. Everybody or certain people are donating things instead of, let's do just $1 a
We
meeting
do,
or something. You know,
I think ours is like $7 for the year, or for the 6 month.
Okay.
So just figure out your budget and then present it to them. This is how much we need per quarter or per 6 months, whatever you want to do.
Right.
In order to.
And when you renew those dues, they need to
At that
pay
time.
that membership
Right,
fee.
and it pays for... What I've found very helpful is to prorate the dues. In one of my clubs, we have it at $12. $2 a month.
Right.
I mean,
Prorated
really.
on ours.
If you